Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching this. Welcome back to the 65th episode of the Since I Was Young podcast for all things Heart of Midlothian. Join you as always is myself, Ewan, and joined by Alan. As always, Alan, how are you, my a good friend? You well?
Aye, mate, I'm very well, very well. Nice to have proper football back. So, yeah, happy
Oh,
days.
oh, and they leave it until the last game for it to actually be all right as well. Like it was as we're recording this, as most of you will be watching it now. Argentina went 2-0 up at the break against France, and literally as you was the Tommy Ireland, France equalised in the space of 2 minutes with two goals. Is that right?
Absolutely insane. Mbappe he's done nothing the whole game, and he's just decided to wake up in the 70th minute and bang two goals in. But yeah, anyway, it's irrelevant. The Hearts are back, and that's the most important thing, isn't it?
I digress. Still fucking pish international football, as you just said there, Alan. Real football is back. As we are going to talk about the game that unfolded yesterday at Tynecastle in the first game back after the World Cup. It was a 3-1 win to Hearts. Not the most convincing win, more specifically in the second half, but obviously we will talk a bit about that. And we have another bit of news as well, as most of you would have saw, with the 1 year extension to our beloved striker Liam Boyce, which will put him here until 2024. And we will also look ahead to next week's game away at Tynecastle, where we face Dundee United. So we'll have a wee bit of an insight to that, and that's pretty much going to be your podcast for this evening. A nice and chilled one. So we do hope you enjoy. But as always, before we get started, if you aren't subscribed to the Since I Was Young podcast via YouTube, please think about subscribing, smash the like button as always. And if you want to get in contact with us via our socials as well, you certainly can. All links will be on screen and in the description as always. So, Alan, I guess we can start with our main Irishman that has signed a 1 year fucking dear, fucking oh dear, he has signed a 1 year deal. There you go. So yes, as I just mentioned there, the Boyce has been offered a 1 year extension to his contract, and he has accepted this the contract, and it's quite apt that he's signed it on the time that he has, because obviously we spent a large amount of time debating if it would be best for him to stay or not from our opinions. And I'll be honest as well, like he was probably the hardest one to say like sort of yes or no if we would keep him in the squad if it were up to us. So what were your first thoughts when the deal was announced, mate?
Kind of came out of nowhere. It was a bit of a
Yeah.
not strange one, but it just kind of like there was no like. Normally you hear a little kind of whisper about something, but it just didn't
Aye.
seem to. Nobody seemed to say anything, and then they announced that it's a 1 year deal with an option of an extra beyond that year, so 2024 guaranteed, as you say. Um, yeah, like you say, we spoke about it last episode and had our thoughts and opinions about it, and
Mm.
I think it's sensible. I think it makes sense to keep him because he's still a quality player.
Of course.
Right now, obviously, like I said last week, we've kind of learned a way of playing without him. But when he comes back, he's going to be used again. We're not just going to forget about him and move on, shall we say?
Mm.
But yeah, look, it's good news. He did an interview that they put on their socials, and he was basically talking about feeling at home, and this is the biggest club he's ever played for, and he can't wait to get back. And obviously, you know, all of that, and he's got like family here as well, and they're settled. So,
Mm.
I think that's a big thing for like senior players as well, like to sort
Aye,
of
of course.
feel kind of comfortable. And I think like obviously we spoke about Michael Smith last week as well, and I think there's an element of that for him as well. But yeah, Boyce is. I think he's just a very well liked guy in the team, and I think it made a lot of sense for him to stay. What his role will be when he comes back from injury is an interesting one. Whether we'll change to fit him back in again, or we'll just ask him to play what we're playing now. I don't know, but it'll be really, really interesting. It was good news though overall,
Yeah,
and like I say, we had our thoughts and kind of went back and forward on it. But I'm delighted that he's staying because he's a big part of the team.
absolutely, Alan. Like I do agree in the sense that, like, I mean, it was you that mentioned it. Like, if this is like sort of a thing that Hearts are doing now, like, obviously with him being over 30, I mean, obviously that doesn't was it take away the fact that he is still a top was it was it Bayern as well. But I guess with the extended year, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense as well because, like you said as well, I mean, he could probably still do a job. What job that may be, I'm not sure as well. Obviously, we had this discussion as well. Like, I mean, me frankly, like, I don't think you should particularly change a team to kind of like accommodate like sort of like a player. Like like one like example being was it a name that's not mentioned on here often, was it Cristiano Ronaldo. Whoever thought fucking a world was like a world class player, Cristiano, and our very own Liam Boyce mentioned in the same sentence. Absolutely, it makes sense.
Well, Ronaldo's
But
looking for a new club, isn't he? So maybe Savage can pull some strings on
oh,
that one.
oh, mate, I mean, even if in a different fucking universe, even if that was an option, I still fucking wouldn't want him there.
Nah.
Nah, like fucking that. But no, like I think overall, I think it's probably like you said. I think it's probably a sensible move. Like in the sense that we're not like sort of just sort of was offering them a fucking 5 year like extension with like like a fucking was it a wage rise for fucking the year. God bless Craig Levine. So I think it's a good. I think in terms of like just to add to that squad depth as well for next year. I think it's
Yeah.
probably a good thing to actually have. So yeah, overall, happy faces. Just before we kind of move on to the game from that list that we discussed last week, is there anybody on that particular list that you would like to hear like from next in terms of an extension or?
I mean, I'd love to hear Peter Haring, but as I said last week, I
Oh,
don't think that will happen. As much as I'd love to, but yeah, I think Boyce, it seemed to be easy to do because obviously he's injured just now, and it was a case of
mm,
they can take their time because he's obviously not
aye.
playing, so they can kind of negotiate and work it out between them. So, but yeah, I think I'd love to hear from Peter Haring, but I don't know whether that'll happen. As gutting as that'll be.
I know, man, exactly. I mean, I would just like to point out, like, as well, because, like, obviously it is a matter of like opinions as well. But we got was it a comment on the last video that we did. If you haven't watched that yet, please do. And it was from Ross Warner, and he. I don't know if he. I mean, did you agree that when we discussed Nordgraf, did you say out as well?
I said in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was
Oh,
out.
right.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
but
I
in
know. Sorry, right.
fairness,
Right.
yeah,
Okay. No,
no, we
man.
could
It's all
talk
good.
about it.
I so we got a comment saying Snodgrass out for fuck's sake. Really? So first off, thank you very much, Ross. And come on, he's 35. Like he's had a great year so far, absolutely by all accounts. But he's fucking 35. Like I mean, he's
He's
not going to be a player to build around for the future. Like, you know what I mean?
no, but I've kind of not gone back and forward on Snodgrass. I was like, without going over what we spoke about last week, I was underwhelmed when we signed him because I thought, well, let's see what happens with this one.
Ah,
But in recent months, like obviously when prior to the World Cup and then the game against Kilmarnock in particular, which we'll talk about in a bit, I thought he was fantastic. So
Aye, of course.
Again,
But
there's an
like, yeah.
element of give him a Boyce type deal, a 1 year with an extra one, or some sort of coaching potential or something like that. Because he's very very good at the moment, but obviously form is temporary. But yeah, Snodgrass is fitting in very nicely into this team, so it wouldn't surprise me if he was maybe the next one that they offered a contract to, because yes, he's 35 years old, but he's at the end of his career, so it's almost like it'd probably be quite an easy sell to be like, right, you found a home, so just fancy staying another year. But we'll see. We'll
Oh,
see.
siding with Ross now, are you? Ross, you a cheeky monkey. My word, causing a bit of controversy. What fantastic. Well, again, Ross, thank you very much for the comment as well. And everybody else, honestly, just get your comments in, because we obviously do love a bit of a debate on here. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see who will be next in terms of a contract extension. Now we'll move on to the game, as said, where we came away with a 3-1 win against Kilmarnock. Now, I guess we could just start off with the team news that was said, Alan. So, obviously, we had Gordon in the goals. We were playing a 3-4-3. At the back, we had Halkett, oh, amazing, Kingsley and Cochrane. On the flanks, we had Smith and Andy Halliday. In the centre, we had Cammy Devlin and Snodgrass. And up front, we had Janelli, Shankland, and Barry Mackay. So I guess the best place to start, Alan, would be when I saw your predictive lineup, you rat bastard, putting in Keogh instead of Halliday. Let's fucking start off there.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
Absolute cheat. You and Ross. Fucking what is going on here? What
I'll tell you.
you have to explain yourself.
So my predicted lineup, for those that didn't see it, I wasn't actually far off, in fairness.
Oh, you were far off, sir. You were far off enough.
I thought we would see a back three of Halkett, Sibic, and Kingsley. That's what I thought the three would be. Just because obviously Sibic's been in good form, and I felt like that might happen. Didn't expect Cochrane to be in the back three. Thought he would be playing at left back, which meant Andy Halliday wasn't going to play at left back. And I went with Snodgrass and Keogh in the midfield because I thought Devlin's probably not going to start. But then, to be honest, I didn't anticipate Andy Halliday starting.
You had a mare. That's not. You had a mare.
It's not.
Let's just.
Yeah, listen. You know my thoughts on Keogh. And looking back, maybe I should have put Andy Halliday in. But talking about it, like in general,
yeah,
I'm not surprised that Devlin started in the midfield, because obviously, although he's been at the World Cup, he didn't play a single minute. So he was probably the freshest of those options. Rolls was obviously suspended, and Atkinson was on the bench, I believe. Yeah. But yeah, I was pleased with the overall lineup that he put out. I thought it made sense. I thought Shankland, Gino, and Mackay were very good. Mackay probably had one of his better games for a while. Still not brilliant, but better. And Gino was fantastic. But yeah, the lineup overall, happy. Kilmarnock, their lineup was pretty standard as well. They had the guy that got injured right before the start of the game, which I think kind of helped us, was their striker. His name escapes me. He scored against us last time we played them. What was his name? Cameron. That was it. Ennis Cameron. He scored in the last game. So for them to lose him was quite nice for us. They obviously had Kyle Lafferty, who's still serving his ban, so he was sitting in the stands as well. So they played a young boy, a young striker up front. I can't remember his first name, but his last name was Wales. Had a good start, but yeah, I when I saw the Hearts lineup, I was quite confident that we could get a result. Which, to be fair, Kilmarnock have got actually a very good record against us at Tynecastle, and I didn't realise how good a record it actually was until I saw it, and I thought, surely not. Like, six wins and one.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Six wins. No, I was just going to say 6 wins and 1 draw in their last 7 visits to Tynecastle. I find that
disgusting.
Mad.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Disgusting.
It's crazy, and I didn't even think about that. And then obviously, like last week's episode, we were talking about, let's turn up and let's pump them. Let's put a marker down. I'm thinking, actually, this might actually be a harder game than I was anticipating. But
Oh goodness.
yeah, overall, I thought the lineup was good.
Yeah, I mean, did you kind of expect us to revert back to our usual 3-4-3?
I did, yeah. I think Robbie feels that it makes sense. You know, we'll get fit defenders back, and it gives us that option to play the three at the back. So yeah, I expected it to be the 3-4-3, and I'm pleased that it was.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I guess we could talk about the opening the goals for Hearts. So obviously, the first goal was struck by was as you so mentioned there, Gino. You could probably argue it was a bit of the defensive error for Kilmarnock. The I don't know how he thought like his header was going to go all the way back. Was it to the keeper? But hey ho, I will not complain. Was it Gino took it down quite well. For a split second, when he took the shot, like he left it to like the fucking last second as well. Because if he left that even was it just a second longer, like it probably would have got was it the block and would have been fuming. But in all respects, it was it like a nice way was it finished from him? Yeah.
Yeah, I think they spoke about it on the radio and on Sports Scene. They were talking about the fact that Gino was playing a bit more centrally than we've seen him before. He was kind of swapping with Shankland, and Shankland was dropping deeper, and Gino was getting in behind, and it worked through the whole game. You know, Kilmarnock just couldn't, particularly in the first half. Kilmarnock just couldn't cope with him breaking that line all the time and getting in behind. And that's where the goal came from. Just a long punt from, I think it was Halkett or maybe Kingsley, one of the two. And yeah, the defensive header was wrong. Was a big error. But Gino was very composed in that moment, and I was very pleased to see that, because I think, and this is not a slight against Gino, but I think him scoring that was kind of 50-50 whether he was going to score or whether he was going to miss it.
I get
Because
you. Yeah, no, man, I get you.
he can be that way where he's a bit rash sometimes, and he'll miss easier chances than that. But no, I was really really pleased for him to score. I thought he had a really good game overall. And yeah, good finish as well, quality finish.
Absolutely. Because he won't be far away from being the second top goal scorer. I mean, somebody's got to pass Andy Halliday at some point. I'm not sure what the goal tally is on just now, but yeah, yes, I scored a few this season, so may it continue. And yeah, we have said for the last God knows how long as well that when it comes to any sort of set piece or any sort of corner kick as well, I don't get excited at all. I really don't. Like honestly, like especially for Hearts as well. But yeah, again, our top assist of the season, Robert Snodgrass, put in a beautiful ball. I'm scoring from a header, direct,
Oh, I
like
know.
absolutely
I know.
fabulous, fabulous times ahead, Alan. Eh?
Oh, absolutely mad. But yeah, it's Snodgrass again taking advantage, and the delivery was
Lovely.
unbelievable. Sorry, I'm just slightly distracted because Argentina have just scored an extra time. Get in. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm totally distracted there. Robert
Absolute
Snodgrass,
pish
right?
my
What are we talking
pants
about?
with excitement. Yeah, here we go, Alan.
We're talking about Robert Snodgrass, right? Let's crack
Aye,
on.
we
Sorry,
are.
I've seen
Once
Mbappe
again,
looking quite. I've seen
once
Mbappe looking
again.
quite sad, and it's quite nice. Anyway, oh,
Crack
Lloris
on.
is crying. What a shame. Anyway, so yeah, the delivery from Snodgrass was fantastic. As he's been able to do since he's been here, I think he's corners and free kick deliveries are just, they're always organized. Okay, he might have one or
Absolutely, yeah.
two where he misses a man or he doesn't quite get where he wants to get to, but more often than not, he seems to be finding players with set pieces, which is
Yeah,
something that we're not used
absolutely.
to.
Absolutely not.
And yeah, I mean, it's amazing to have a player like that can consistently do that. Um, and yeah, like we have to talk about the header as well. It was, I think, Kilmarnock's defensive play and Kilmarnock's
Oh,
marking from that situation was
all
poor.
over the
They
place.
left,
All over the place.
yeah, they left Shankland near enough on his own. It was a really good header, headed it down into the ground, and it bounced up and in. So, yeah, really, really good set piece goal. Which, like you say, I don't get excited when we get set pieces because I think, it's probably going to not come to anything. But maybe we need to start feeling a wee bit more confident in them if Snodgrass is on the pitch.
True, but yeah, absolutely, my man. I mean, as you just imagine them there, obviously we have to talk about him as well. So, and we obviously have to every single week we have to just eat more humble fucking pie for this
Oh,
man fucking
mate.
Shankland. Like if we've ever been wrong about a signing, if we've ever been so wrong about a signing, this is probably it. Yeah, like the man is just on fire. Again, um, it was something I saw. Like I don't know if it was yourself that put it up, but so 14 goals this season in all comps. I reckon he's going to hit 20 easily, and we're not even um after Christmas yet as well. I mean, do I dare say Hearts may have a 30 goal a season striker on their hands? I mean, I wouldn't say that it's in there at the possible.
Potentially. I, like you said at the start there, I feel like I owe him a public apology, because and somebody brought this back to my attention last night. Was it last night or the night before? It was last night. I posted a tweet in April, I think it was. Anyway, essentially, it was in response to an article that the Daily Record posted linking us to Lawrence Shankland, and I said something along the lines of, "We're doing the Lawrence Shankland dance again. Let's not do this. We should be aiming for far better quality than him."
Fucking hell!
I
Somebody went all the way
Yeah.
back to dig up some fucking dirt on you, eh?
In fairness, I will own my opinion, because I'm not one to. I put it. Listen, I put it on Twitter as my view at the time, and I will own that. I'm not going to sit here and delete tweets and scroll back through and delete things to prove that I know what I'm talking about, because quite clearly, in the case of Lawrence Shankland, I have not got the foggiest idea what I'm talking about. Um, and yeah, listen, I as I said, I posted on Twitter last night saying, some people delete tweets because they don't want to get found out for having clueless opinions, but I will quite happily own that one. And if Lawrence Shankland goes on and bags 20, maybe even 30 goals this season, then I will be absolutely delighted. And I will admit that I have not got the foggiest idea what I'm talking about when it comes to who Hearts should sign or should not sign, because clearly Robbie Nielsen knows a little bit more than I do, which, it's a no brainer, isn't it?
I know, man. But like, I mean, in the sense as well, like, I mean, I don't hide the fact that like I didn't think, at the time, I didn't think that Shankland would do as well as he had done. I think the main thing that kind of stuck out for me was the initial asking price, which was like a 1 million, I think it is, which like I mean, at the time, I mean, I still don't think that asking for that price, unless you're still to go there, the Rangers like
Yeah.
so that
No.
was only my objection at the start. But if we're gonna talk about his form now, he's probably up about 5. So yeah, we'll just take that back just now. But yeah, I mean, do we want to have a bet now? Like, just to see where your head's at. Do you think he will make 30 goals this year?
I think he'll hit over 20. I think it might be 22,
That's not what I
23.
fucking asked you. Will he hit 30?
I'm going to say no to 30, but I'm going to say probably
How
about
dare you?
maybe.
Everybody, he still thinks Shankly's shite. He still thinks Shankly's shite. Like, he won't hit 30. My God, Alan.
I'd, I'd
Oh.
love him to. I'd love him to. I would absolutely love him to. And if Snodgrass can land a few more free kicks on his head, he might do it.
Oh.
But I reckon 24, maybe 25. But it's funny because he's I think joint top goal scorer in the league now, and the top 10 goal scorers in the league, he's the only Scottish player. So,
Ooh.
surely there's got to be Stevie Clark on the phone. I know you're not a big fan of international football, as we've already spoken about, but Steve Clark surely has to be on the phone to him at some point because he's banging goals and he's in form. So I don't see any reason why he should be omitted from Scotland squads going forward.
Absolutely not, Alan. Absolutely not. But as all that was as with all things in due course, so we'll see what happens with that, my man. But honestly, I'm gonna give the foggiest of ideas. So yeah. Getting back to the game. There wasn't really much that went on throughout the two goals. I think for the predominant of the first half was I thought we were quite was dominant. I don't think was a Killie caused us too many issues. I thought the first 45 had a beam back after 6 weeks. I thought we were pretty decent, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The passing movements, the control of the game was there.
Mm.
As I said, Barry Mackay had a good half.
Yeah. Of
Played some good passes, looked solid. Still more to come from him, of course, but I think he looked
course.
pretty good. Yeah, listen, it was as routine as you would like it to be in a first half. Kilmarnock, I don't know, as I said at the start, whether it was the loss of their striker that kind of threw them off a bit,
Mm.
but they couldn't cope with us going forward either. Like they didn't seem to have kind of an answer for the movement that we had with Gino and with Mackay and Shankland and Snodgrass kind of pulling the strings in midfield. It was
Mm.
very much a comfortable first half, and probably if you're Robbie Nielsen, you're probably thinking, right, it would be nicer to score a few more goals in the first half. But yeah, it was a bit mad.
So as we got into the second half, Alan, there were a few um was it like events that took place throughout the second half. Would you like to delve in to those, please, sir?
Yeah, so Kilmarnock kind of got back into the game a bit.
It indeed.
They must have had a rocket at halftime from McInnes, because, as I said, they were really average in the first half. So they obviously turned it up the second, and I think I'm not saying we ran out of legs a little bit, but I think we used a lot of energy in the first half, and it was
Mm.
a difficult second half. But yeah, I mean I guess we want to touch on the Kilmarnock goal, don't we?
Yeah, of course.
It was annoying because, again, like we said about not getting excited when we get set pieces, I'm always fearful when we give them away, especially in that position, because
Of course.
we we just seem to just there's always a little error. There's always an element of just switching off or losing a man. And like, we haven't even spoken about him, but Halkett for me was fantastic for most of the game. It was
Mm.
great to have him back, and he was winning balls in the air, and he was dominating that area, which is what he does. But he does lose his man for the Kilmarnock goal. But again, maybe it's a bit of rustiness, maybe it's you know all of that. I don't quite know, but it was such a predictable goal to give away. And
I
as I
get
say,
you, I get you.
I predicted last week that I wanted a clean sheet. I don't know why I predicted it. Because we don't keep clean sheets apparently, as annoying as that is. But yeah, there's, as I say, it was a very irritating and predictable goal to give away. But it had been coming because Kilmarnock were, they were turning it up a bit, and we were struggling to keep the ball and struggling to kind of make things happen.
I agree, my man. Yeah, like I mean the goal itself, like you said, it was kind of expecting it. Like I mean, like once I don't know if this is a thing in general or if it was just because it was the first game back. But again, it's been a while since Hearts have played a full the game and played absolutely brilliant. I think it always either tends to actually be the first half's great, but the second half's not so good. Like or the vice the versa. But like you said, uh, some of the passes started to get a tiny bit sloppy. Like we started to give like sort of the balls away while sort of Achilles started to put on the pressure a wee bit. Um, and obviously there were two incidents. Well, I mean, like sort of one that sort of was a talking point as such. So there was a penalty claim under Andy Halliday who felt as if he got dragged down. But to be fair, even if it was a good given, I still probably think it would have been a wee bit soft.
Yeah, I don't. As much as I would have loved to have been, given it, and I would have been calling for it, I don't think we had much of a case for it, to be honest.
Nah. But in that very same sense, another talking point as such. So the penalty that we were actually was given as well. Yeah, a bit of confusion, to say the least. Because after I watched the highlights again, so the ball comes across, and when it's so the Killie, the defender, like his name escapes me. I don't know if he was calling for like a foul or an offside, and he had his back turned to the ball, and then inevitably the ball hits off his arm, and it's they're given as a penalty. Now, be very, very, very honest, because we try not to be wasn't a biased like on here, Alan. But again, I thought it was a tiny bit harsh. I'll be
very,
very honest. I thought it was a tiny. Get off your fucking phone! Stop watching the World Cup.
It's gone to penalties, mate. It's gone to penalties. I'm putting it away. Fucking Mbappe, man. Hat trick in a World Cup final. Sorry.
It's not you, mate. It's not you. It's my hatred of international football that just spews out of me. I'm so sorry for that outburst. I do apologize.
I just want Messi to win a World Cup, and Mbappe's just rattled in a hat trick in a World Cup final, and it's gone to penalties. Fucking blasses. Anyway.
Anyhow,
back to important matters.
Just because I've told you off, for no reason at all, just to annoy you, you can with a carry on, and I'll say where the penalty shootout is actually going.
Okay. I've deserved that.
Absolutely not. That again gives me anxiety. That fucking international football. Sorry, Alan, we got way off track there for that unnecessary outburst. I am so sorry.
That's all right. Don't worry. Yeah. No, what we're saying. Penalty claim, to me, it was never a penalty. I actually felt quite bad for them for giving it away. But in the world of VAR and Scottish referees, and particularly Willie Collum, who we haven't even touched on yet.
I don't want to.
It didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me that he gave it, but it was never a penalty for me.
Nah.
But I don't know. I think Willie Collum just gave it rather than there being any VAR intervention. I could be wrong in that. Obviously, I wasn't at the game, so I don't know if there was a delay in the taking, etc. But yeah, I mean, again, like we say about being confident from Snodgrass free kicks, my confidence in championship quality Lawrence Shankland is from the penalty spot is never unwavered. And as soon as I saw him take the ball, it was like I say, he's got that confidence in him at the moment to bag goals, and you need that, particularly from a penalty. But I think even just to touch on it briefly, I think Robbie made a really, really good substitution rather before that, where he brought on George Grant, and there was another one that came on, but I can't remember who. But George Grant was the one that made the most impact because he went into the midfield, and they switched it to like a midfield three.
I am pretty sure it was Grant and your main man no, it was Keogh.
Keogh, it was. You're right. It was Keogh. That's right. Sorry, I forgot about it. But George Grant came in. George Grant came on, and they kind of stabilised it a bit and got control of the game back again. But no, talking about the Shankland penalty, he just oozes confidence when he gets the ball in the penalty 100%. Spot, and you just think, this is a goal.
Done.
And like I say, it was a good penalty. 14 goals, is it now for the season?
Yes, it is indeed.
13 or 14, because the 13th was the header. 14 goals for the season. So he's well on course for 20. And I know we've already spoken about it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he hits at least 20 goals.
Absolutely not, Alan. Absolutely not. So after that goal, it kind of sealed off the 3 points for us. Has us sitting fourth, 24 points. I believe we're only a point behind that Aberdeen. Is that right?
Yeah, because it was quite a good weekend of results for us.
Mm,
Aberdeen obviously lost to Celtic, and Hibs lost to Rangers on the Friday night game.
mm,
So that was nice. Um, Puts us, as you say, a point off of Aberdeen, and we have a chance to go up to third place
mm-hmm.
before the end of the year, because we've got obviously Dundee United away next, and Aberdeen play Rangers at home. So we
Yeah,
wait and see, but it certainly gives us an opportunity to get back into third before the start of 2023, which would be, I think, pretty good going. We mentioned it last week in terms of being in touch and distance of third prior to the World Cup break, but
mm,
to get into third place and try and push on would be even better.
absolutely. And especially with the derby after that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like to go into that game sitting and like in third, I'll be it even if it's only like was it 2 points or something. I think again, you're just like was it talking about was it a Shanklin list of oozing was it competence as well. I think it's a really important time for us as well to literally just crack on and just take each game 3 points like etc. And I think, I mean, we may as well move on to it now. When we travel away to Tannadice next week, again, and like we talk about going away to grounds that we're not too particularly fond of. Tannadice, I don't know. I mean, we seem to do all right up there. Like as far like come on, don't shrug your mouth like that. It tends to be kind of one of those like I tend to say for like example like I go into places like Ed Pataudry, was it Dingwall, was it St Johnson as well. Those are the kind of grounds that I do not like going to. However, Tannadice is a place where we tend to do all right. Like I'm not saying we do it was it constantly wasn't like amazing, but just
Yeah.
with the form that I hope we can stick to just now, and where Dundee United are at now. Are they sitting bottom of the league?
They are, yeah. They're
Yeah,
bottom
aye. So,
currently, yeah.
so obviously they'll be at that same time wanting to try and get like sort of what was it like a few points on the board. I mean, what do you expect from that game next week, Alan?
I think it'll be tricky. I think Dundee United are a team that, yeah, they're bottom of the league right now, and they're not playing particularly well. Well, from previous to the World Cup, they
Yeah.
haven't been in great form either. So it would be it would be silly of me to say we're going to go over there and put three past them and win comfortably.
Yeah, of
Um,
course.
Talking about like securing third place and all that, it's the most important thing is consistency of results. And Robbie did a after the match interview where he said, the most important thing is consistency of selection and being able to pick the same players again and again, which is important.
Hmm.
Um, we'll have Kai Rolls back because he was suspended against Kilmarnock. Whether I would put him straight back in, I don't know. We might see him back in, and we might see Cochrane back out to left back, maybe Halliday back in midfield, or maybe Halliday on the bench. I don't know, but it'll be very, very interesting to see what he does with the team selection for the game. I think, I back us to get a result, but it won't be easy. It won't be easy because I think one of the most interesting things about Scottish football at this moment is that really any team can beat anyone just now, aside from maybe Celtic and Rangers. But there's not really huge, like over 90 minutes. I mean, anyone can beat anyone.
Okay.
We have a strong squad, and we probably are favourites to be third this season, having done it last year.
Hmm.
But you can never be complacent, and you can never think that you've won a game, before you've even played it,
Hmm.
essentially. and Dundee United, yes, they're bottom of the league. It's all set up for us to go there and win, and I hope that we do. But it will certainly
Absolutely.
be trickier than I would anticipate. I mean, last time we played them was at Tynecastle. We won 4-1. Prior to that, the last time we went to Tannadice was earlier this year. We only won 3-2. So there wasn't a lot in it. But yeah, I think we have the confidence and the quality to go there and get a result. It's just going to be up to the boys to just do it, hopefully.
Agreed on that, Alan. Could not have said it better myself. And in that same regard, can I get a score prediction, please, for the trip to Tannadice?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
Nice one. I'll probably go for a 2-1 win as well. Shanks to score 2 so he can get me up to that 30 goal mark quicker.
Against his former club as well.
No, that'll be very interesting. Was it like as well? Absolutely interesting. And as always, guys, we would love to hear your predictions for the trip to Tannadice next week. And as always, thank you very much for watching this 65th episode of the Sin Savage Wrong podcast. And if you still aren't subscribed, please think about subscribing and smash the like button as always. And yeah, Alan, thank you very much for joining me as always for some a conversation about Heart of Midlothian.
Absolutely. And apologies for the sidetracking of the World Cup, the World Cup commentary in the background there. Yeah, for those that don't know, I'm working predominantly night shifts just now, so trying to fit these in is a bit of a struggle. So we decided to record just as extra time started of the France-Argentina game. So maybe not the best scheduling, but yeah, it's fine. Heart of Midlothian are bigger than both anyway.
Absolutely right, sir. No question in that. But yeah, but as we said, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next week. And for anybody making the trip up to Dundee, we do hope you have a good one, and we will see you next time. You take care. Bye for now.